Good morning. I welcome everyone to this channel of mine. I am Mr. Ish. The purpose of this channel is to present two questions in each video. There will be relevant two questions that will help you in your test preparation, be it for the SAT exams or the ACT or even the GRE. These type of questions are based on the type of math questions or the quantitative reasoning questions you will see in those kinds of standardized testings. Let's look here at the first question, and today's double of the day is focusing on probability. We can always revisit these topics in future videos as a need arises. A pair of dice, or you can say the plural die, is thrown. What is the probability of not getting a sum of 3 or less? You know a die has 6 sides. It looks like a cube, and there's 6 sides to this cube. Each of these sides is numbered from 1 to 6. You throw 2 of these, and of course you can add up the numbers for the side which faces up. You look at those numbers, you add them up. You know if you're throwing 2 die, you're going to have a variety of combinations that will pop up. But what is probability here? Probability is the number of successes. We'll just say this, number of successes divided by total number of outcomes. And let's abbreviate number of successes divided by number of total outcomes, and that's the formula you got to use for this type of question. But we have to determine what are our successful throws and what are the total outcomes. If you look at 2 dice, and let's just draw them in 2 dimension, you can have 2 numbers pop up and you have to add them up. In one combination you can have, and I'm just showing you a small list because from this small list we'll derive the entire list. You can have 1 plus 1 as showing up. You can have 1 plus 2, you can have 1 plus 3, 1 plus 4, 1 plus 5, 1 plus 6. The plus meaning you're adding the 2 die combinations or the results. In the next round you can have 2 plus 1, then you can have 2 plus 2, 2 plus 3, and you can go onwards, then 3, then 4, then 5, then 6. What it tells you, in each of these rows you got 6 outcomes, but you'll have 6 rows in general. You got 6 columns, 6 rows, so the total outcomes will be 6 times 6 is 36. You got to find the total number of successful outcomes, which are your number of successes, and they must be 3 or less. If you look over here, you have 2 plus 1, 1 plus 1, and 2 plus 1. These are your 3 outcomes, which are always in a sum of 3 or less. So you have number of successes are 3, and the total outcomes are 36, and you are getting a 1 over 12. That's your probability of success. But now we have to look at the question and see what it's really asking. The key word is this: what is the probability of not getting a sum of 3 or less? If this right here is the probability of getting a sum of 3 or less, then the probability of not getting it must be, and let's do a little notation here, probability of an event not occurring is always equal to 1 minus the probability of that event occurring, because probabilities range from 0 up to 1. 0 meaning the event did not occur, 1 meaning the event occurred 100% of the time. So your probability must be in between. If this is the probability of the event occurring, the probability of that event not occurring must be 1 minus 1 over 12, which would be 11 over 12, and this here would be your answer. So 11 out of 12, whatever percentage that is the likelihood of the outcome that you will have a sum larger than 3. Only 1 out of 12 in terms of percentage or likelihood will the sum be 3 or less, and the question has been answered. The second question of this video, again focusing on probability, is now dealing with odds, and that's an interesting concept that you should know for these type of tests that you will experience, especially the SATs. What is the odd? Odd is always expressed in terms of integers, a ratio of integers. You can always express it as number of successes to the number of failures. Always expressing as a ratio of integers, and keep that in mind. So we're talking here about a deck of 52 cards. You know, the 52 cards comprises of 13 hearts, 13 clubs, 13 diamonds, and 13 spades. And the question is, what are the odds of picking a club? You know, if there are 52 cards in total, of which 13 of these are going to be club cards, you do 52 minus 13, and that gives you 39. You have to put these numbers you've obtained right here into the formula I've put over here. The number of successes are 13 because there are 13 clubs, and the number of failures, which means the not club cards, will be 39, and your answer will be the odds of picking a club would be 13 to 39. But you can present this in a better way, 1 to 3, because you can simplify. 13 divided by 3 is a 1, 39 divided by 13 is a 3. So the odds of picking a club is always 1 to 3 with regards to a deck of 52 cards. And the question is done, and this should be a good answer. So remember, probability can be expressed in terms of odds, or like in the previous question, you can express it in the way I did, in a fractional way. The fractional way can always be converted into a percentage. We will always be looking at more excellent questions on probability in the future, because this is a very big topic which shows up on the SAT and the ACT exam. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day. Stay tuned.